In this video, I'm going to show you, especially if you're new to SolidWorks, how to take an existing part and explore it. But the most important thing that I want to show you is to take that part, presume that you had made that part as part of a homework or maybe part of a test, and to show you precisely how we'd like you to turn in that part. And so what I'm going to do is, first of all, open a part. This is probably a nice sample. And so I just double clicked out in the file manager, and here is a thing. I think it's called a receptacle of some kind. Here is a part that was created in SolidWorks. Again, we know you're brand new to SolidWorks, but we're not going to focus on all these creation things yet. I just want to show you how to take a part that exists and document it for us, and to explore a little bit. And so over here on the left is a thing called a model tree. We'll be using that quite a lot. And this thing allows you to move this bar up and down. And this is as high as I can move it. And when I move the bar this high, I have nothing showing up over here. If I move it down one level, I end up with that. What this means is this first operation, called an extrude, created that geometry. If I move it down a little bit, I then get that new geometry added to it. So apparently this thing called a revolve created this circular looking thing. Move it down a little bit, we get a thing called a fillet shows up. Let's see, actually I didn't even really see where that showed up, so let's go back and it created the roundness of those two prongs. Okay, let's see what goes next. A cut extrude created some holes apparently. This cut extrude, I believe, created this notch. Let's just move it up and see. Yes, that created that notch. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. Now, the mirror, what did that do? That created the notch on the other side. Now we've sort of explored this part. This part exists. Oh, I'm doing something that I haven't explained to you. I'm rotating this part around by holding down the middle mouse button and just moving my mouse. That'll rotate it around a bit. If I want to point at something and roll the wheel away from me, the part runs away. If I want to bring it back, I just point at it and roll the wheel toward me. Whatever I'm pointing at moves toward the middle of the screen. And so you can play with that a little bit and get used to doing these things. But let's say that you have created this part as part of a homework or an assignment, or an exam, whatever. And we want you to document the details of this part. Well, we could have you do a full 3 view drawing with dimensions, but we're not there yet. We haven't taught you to do that. So here's how we're going to want you to document the part. Step 1, over in the model tree, with the whole part showing up, notice these things that have plus signs that are down below the highest point. We can drag this line. Those things with plus signs. Let's expand the plus signs. What we're going to find hiding under virtually every one of these, in this case every one of these things, is a sketch. And the process of creating this initial pair of prongs was to create a sketch, and you can see it highlighted in the window, of that geometry, and then smear that sketch out to create the geometry. To create this circular geometry, do you see that odd shape showing up in the picture? And then we're going to take that shape and rotate it about a center line to create that rounded shape. Sorry about the phone call. And so sketches followed by extrudes, revolves, etc. will be prime ways of creating geometry. To document a part, we want to see the sketches, and then finally we want to see the geometry. So here's how we would want you to document a part. We have just brought the part in, we've done nothing to it. I've expanded all the plus signs in the model tree. I'm going to go click on sketch 1 and move up and click on this edit sketch tool. It takes me into a thing called the sketcher, which we will teach you, but it's viewed funny. We go up to this viewing orientation box, press on the arrow, and move over to this one, which is called normal to or perpendicular to. And when we click on that, it brings the sketch to a nice large size in the view, and it rotates it so that we're seeing the sketch square on in what's called the sketching plane. This is part of what I want you to give me to document this part. It would be this first sketch. Now, how are you going to send this sketch to me? What you're going to do is go into the and find the Microsoft Windows snipping tool. If you go to the program menu, it's under accessories. Find the snipping tool. I'm going to move it back out of the window, but I'm going to end up clicking new, and I'll leave it right there, new. And now I will drag a box around this sketch, and the snipping tool brings up a larger window that then has this picture in it. I'm not really interested in this particular window, and I'm going to drag it out of the way. And I'm going to bring in another window that I already have open. I already have an empty Microsoft Word file open. And in this empty Microsoft Word file, I'm just going to do a Control V, which is a paste. And I have just pasted that picture into this Microsoft Word box, in a Microsoft Word document. Now, if I click on it, it may not need to be as large as it is, and it might be even nice to have two sketches side by side at times. So I'm going to leave it about that size for now, and I'm going to drag Word out of the way. But I've put that sketch into a Word document. Now, I'm done with this sketch. Let's see, let me click back into the SOLIDWORKS window. To exit a sketch, I can either say, yes, I like it, I'm going to keep it, or I don't want to keep any changes I made. I'm going to click on the X. It brings up a warning that says, do you really want to discard the changes and exit this sketcher? Yes, I do, but don't bother showing me this message again. I'm going to go ahead and check that. It's a choice. Okay, I've seen that sketch. Now I'm going to go to this sketch. Click, edit sketch, go to the view orientation, bring it up square, and now I can see how this sketch sits on top of some of the existing geometry that I had. That sketch is in place. I'm going to go click on the snipping tool, the window I had earlier. Okay, I just had a telephone and an office visit, so I had to pause this for a moment. So I now need to get my thoughts back together and figure out where I am. I brought back the snipping tool window that had the old picture in it because I want to go back and click on new and drag a rectangle around that sketch. Now that sketch is in the snipping tool window, and I'm going to simply click on SOLIDWORKS to get that snipping window out of the way, bring the Microsoft Word window into place, make sure I click a little bit to the right. Let me move this up a touch. Okay, either click on that thing and then use or click to the right of it and Control V, paste. Now it's pasted this figure in below this one. It's bigger than it needs to be, so I'm going to click on it and scale it down a bit. Where did it go? It moved up right next to this other one, and yeah, I could make it just a touch bigger possibly, but then it goes to the other, it goes to the next line, so I'll make it a touch smaller. And now I've got in a Word document 2 of the critical sketches for this part. What I'll do is just drag this down a little bit, then bring up Word, or bring up SOLIDWORKS. I'm done with that sketch. That's sketch number 2. I'm going to go to sketch number 3 and edit it and view perpendicular. This is a very simple sketch. I'll now bring up the snipping tool and say new, and I will go ahead and drag around this entire view. There is that sketch. I will click in Microsoft Word and bring it up and click to the right of that picture and do a Control V paste. And this sketch certainly doesn't deserve to be that big. And so what I'll do is I'll just look above and see the dividing line between these two sketches and make this one about as wide as that left-hand sketch. And so there's my next sketch. I now click back into SolidWorks. Oops, I hit a menu, didn't really want to do that. And I will exit this sketch, and I'll go to sketch number 4, edit it, and view perpendicular. And it's not much of a sketch. I'll go to the snipping tool. I think that's the snipping tool. New, steal that sketch. Jump over here to Word. Click to the right of that picture. You can see the cursor there. Paste it in. Make it a bit smaller. And it jumps to right there. And I now have 4 sketches in this one Word document. And there are 4 sketches in the document. And so what I'm going to do with this Word document finally, I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm not going to worry too much about where I save it to. We're going to call that good enough. And now I'm going to, let's see, File, Save As. Oops, it's not what I wanted to do. Let's see, what is it? File. I just want to make it a PDF file. That should say, let's see. I've just gone to a new version of Word. I'll create a PDF or an XPS document. So I'm going to do that. I will create that. It's going to make a PDF document. I'm going to say OK. And I think in just a moment it'll bring up the PDF document. It did. Here's the PDF file that was created. And this is something that our graders, and actually anybody in the world, can look at, even if they don't have SolidWorks. And that's part of the virtue of the way we're having you turn this in. People can then look at your work even if they don't have SolidWorks, and they can look at your work even if they don't have Microsoft Word, because everybody can get a free PDF viewer. But this is going to help our graders be able to grade your homework from wherever they are without being on a computer that has SolidWorks. So this is step 1 in turning in this part. If I hadn't talked so much, I could probably have created the Word file and this PDF file in about 2 minutes for this part. The final piece that and then what we're going to have you do is upload these documents to our D2L drop boxes that we'll be creating when we ask you to turn things in this way. I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to close the Word file because I'm finished with it. There's one other thing we want to do to document this part. Okay, it's snippet. I'm going to say no, I don't want to save changes. We're going to now save another version of this file that again can be viewed by anybody in the world, even if they don't own SolidWorks. I'm going to go to File. Let's see, where is it? Oh, I can't do what I wanted to do because I've got to get out of the sketch. Actually, I'm glad I showed you that mistake. So I get out of the sketch. Now I have the part itself. I go to File, Publish to eDrawings. eDrawing is sort of like the Adobe PDF viewer. Viewers are free, and if you give someone an eDrawing file and they don't have this eDrawing thing, it will probably tell them how to load the eDraw or download the eDrawing viewer. So this is, you can see SolidWorks eDrawings Professional. Here is the 3D part. What's great about eDrawing is I can just hold down my mouse and rotate just as I did in SolidWorks. If I click on something, it highlights. Okay, but I can view the object and find out what it's all about, but I don't have to own SolidWorks. I just have to have the eDrawing viewer, which is free to everybody. So this eDrawing file exists, and I'm going to save it. And it automatically gives it a name. So this file is saved. And then the two pieces to fully document this part for us would be the e-drawing that we can explore. Let me just show you a little bit more that's somewhat cool about this e-drawing thing. We've already shown you cross sections. E-drawings can let me take this object and create a cross-section plane that cuts it. I can view from either direction, but then I can see that cut surface, so I can explore the interior of the part. I can change my cutting plane and cut the part in that half this way, drag the plane around, view different sides. And so when you create a part, even if we don't have SolidWorks with us, or if you wanted to send this part to your parents, whatever, and let them view some of the work that you're doing, e-drawings is the way to do it. So there's the e-drawings. It's been saved. And so when you upload both the e-drawing and that Word file with all of the sketches in one, actually the PDF file with all the sketches in one file, we can very quickly understand this part that you've created. And that would be the end of this video, and we will at times, maybe even many times, be asking you to use this process to document this part. Now I think what I'm going to do is very quickly find some other part and document it and just see how long it takes me to take a part that I've never played with before, don't know what it's all about, and create the documents necessary to submit the part. And so this one looks somewhat interesting. Let's see if it'll open. Okay, well that's just some kind of a peg. So here we go. I will expand the three things here. I will start Word, and I will start the snipping tool, and I'm going to hit escape because when you start the snipping tool, at least on my machine, it tries to start right away. I'm going to move the snipping tool out of the way. Okay, and so I'm going to go look at this first sketch, edit the sketch, view perpendicular, gives me a nice view of the sketch. This appears to be a part that doesn't have any dimensions on it because someone didn't dimension it. That's okay, that's what this sketch is. I'll go to the snipping tool, steal the sketch. I didn't steal it very well. Let me try that again because I didn't really get around the window very well. I need to bring forward the snipping tool. Ah, there it is. Okay, try that again. New, and I'm going to intentionally be a little bit large on grabbing this thing. That's a better version of the sketch. Take it into Word, paste it, shrink it a little bit. Good. Go back to SolidWorks, exit this sketch, go to sketch 3, view perpendicular to be safe. I'm going to turn off the solid viewing and go to a wireframe viewing. Again, there's not I mean, this is the sketch. There's not any dimensions in it, so I maybe didn't pick the best part. But I've started this and I'm going to stick with it. And so now I'm going to go to the snipping tool, new, grab this area. There's that sketch. Go to Word, click, paste it into Word, grab the handle and resize it so that it probably goes side by side. That's good enough for that sketch. I'm going to hit enter, go back into SolidWorks. I guess I'm no longer in that sketch. Go to the final sketch that's in here, edit it. This one actually has a dimension on it. Snipping tool, new, grab everything, go to Word, paste. It's in Word. That's good enough. File, save and send to, make sure you can see this, a PDF document. I would type in a new name and click on publish. That'll save the file. It brings the file up. I'm going to close it, but I would probably upload it. I'm going to close the Word document. I'm done with it. I'm not even going to save these changes. I'm going to get the snippet thing out of the way, and then I'll exit this sketch. I'm going to go back into solid viewing, and then I will do a file and publish to Edrawings. And there's the part. I can zoom in and out. I can rotate. I can section. It's tempting, and I wish it worked, but it doesn't. Wish you could measure things. In the free version of eDrawing Viewer, you can't actually measure dimensions and things like that. Oh well, doesn't work. But there's the eDrawing file. Save it. Give it a name. Save it. And I've documented this part, and I don't know how many minutes it took, but it wasn't very many. And that would be the end of this video.